What's up, everybody? We are live for UFC Milwaukee. We got the rematch between Kevin Lee and Iaquinta, and it's a good fight, man. I like both guys. I think it's going to be, a huge fight in the division. And joining me as always, Kelton. How do you like this card? And how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I really, really like this card. It's full of very intriguing matchups. UFC on Fox. So this is a big Fox card. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Definitely, yeah. There's fireworks all over this card, man. I'm really looking forward to my sleeper fight of the night pick in Do Bronx versus Jim Miller 2. Like that might be one of my favorite fights in the card. There's a lot of live underdogs on this card, man. And being the underdog king, I know you're very interested, so I'm looking forward to talking these fights with you.
Yeah, man, I love this card. Like, it's on free TV. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch the main card live. I'm going to record it, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go on Twitter and find out the results. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I will be able to watch the prelims live. But yeah, let's do a quick, little discussion about last card. So yeah, man, Max Holloway went out there and dominated the fight. Congrats to everybody that bet Max. I bet T City. I got a little emotional because T City is one of my favorite fighters, and you can't do that, man. The betting game, and it's my own fault. I just got too involved with the red flags with Max, and the whole, he's I don't know, man. Just I don't know. I just fell into the trap, man, with the hype of T City and Max, all the two, the bad weight cuts, and who knows if his chin's gonna be all right, and it's my own fault, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna fade Max again because he's really good, man. I bet him versus Aldo the first time. If he fights Tony Ferguson, we'll make talks. I'm not sure who I have in that fight yet, but yeah. But yeah, I went 1-3 in my bets. I actually think I had like a minus 7.8 unit on the night, so it wasn't a good night. My only cash was what was my cash? Let me check real quick.
Gunny.
Oh, okay, yeah, Gunner. So that dude, Gunner, it was a little hairy in that fight, man, because Cowboy, I should reverse him. But yeah, Gunner's good, man. I love the guy. I can't wait to see who he fights next. And Bochniak went out there and, I mean, in my opinion, lost every round. I don't know how that was a split. I think going to TriStar was terrible for him. And then Anders versus Elias. I mean, I lost on Anders, but Elias is one of my favorite fighters, man. So I'm happy for him. That guy's so tough. Like, you can say like he runs away and all this, but dude, this chin, man, how he survived in the second round. Wow, like I was impressed because most guys I think when he got knocked out, and Anders just doesn't throw enough volume. That's my own fault. I don't know why I bet him in that spot. I thought he could have hurt him, but I mean, I don't know. Borrachina would probably knock out Elias. So we'll talk about him in the time. And yeah, so those are my plays, and let's talk about your plays real quick.
Yeah, man, I didn't. I had a rough weekend. It wasn't a very good one for me. Chad Laprise cost a lot of people money, man. Chad Laprise was like the huge bank buster of the night. I know lots of people were huge on him in DraftKings. I think he was the number one most played person in DraftKings besides the main event guys. But yeah, man, Chad Laprise he dropped the ball for me, and then Chookagian. Honestly, I'm not trying to be salty. I really do think I've watched the fight 3 times now. I think Chookagian won rounds 1 and 3, but it was a close fight. I'm not going to say robbery. I just thought Chookagian won. It is what it is. I should not have put that much money on a girl that like I knew she wasn't going to win dominantly. The way I saw it going was all 3 rounds were going to be somewhat close, but Chookagian with her superior striking, she'd make them all clear. It didn't happen, man. But yeah, it was a really good card. How can you not be impressed with Max Holloway? Shout out to Max for the 190 points on fucking DraftKings, bro. 190 points. I think that might be the highest score of the entire year. He definitely won me some money on DraftKings, which definitely helped of the aches of the losing bet there. So shout out to Max Holloway. Who else came through for me massive on DraftKings? Diego Ferreira, Thiago Santos, bro. Thiago Santos versus Jimmy Manuwa was one of the craziest brawls I've ever seen in my entire life. Like Jimmy Manuwa wanted nothing of that, man. He tried to clinch up and press him against the cage as much as he could, but Santos just did not let him off the hook. But one thing watching that fight, man, I don't think I could ever put my money on Thiago Santos ever again. Like, he has Jimmy Manuwa wobbled and rocked all over the place, but he's just going for these ridiculous low percentage moves. Like, dude, I mean, I get you're trying to get a bonus in there, but I mean, against one of the best fighters in the world, and Jimmy Manuwa is a very talented fighter, and He almost knocked out Santos a couple points in that fight. Like, you can't be doing that kind of shit in there. So Thiago Santos is one of those guys that, like, I don't want my money on him or against him. When it comes to the rest of the card, congrats to Shevchenko for shutting out Joanna, in my opinion. And I thought she won all 5 rounds. I thought the 5th was kind of close. Like, honestly, I feel like if they were to go 5 more rounds, Joanna would take, like, a lot of those later rounds. Joanna is a cardio fucking machine. Like, Valentina's a cardio machine, and Joanna, like, even losing the fight, like, showed how amazing of a gas tank she is. It just shows Joanna's got to go down to 115. So congrats to Valentina on winning the title there. Congrats to you on cashing on Gunny. That was like a nasty, amazing fight. One of the most brutal elbows I've ever seen. I'm pissed for not betting Nina Anzarov. I was kind of calling her live all week. She beat Claudia Gadelia's ass. Claudia Gadelia is a pretty big fall from grace, in my opinion, in that division. Gilbert Burns put on a good performance. The Anders-Theodoro fight kind of sucked. I'm really disappointed that Anders let him off the hook. Anything else? Rakic, man. Rakic is a force to be reckoned with. Rakic is the man. Yeah, he got me a lot of points too. So, yeah, man, let's talk about this Milwaukee card.
Real quick, yeah, I was surprised that Rakic got dropped, man. I mean, that was kind of surprising, but I mean, he definitely, showed that he has a good chin. Like he showed adversity in that for sure. I think there's one more thing I was gonna talk about. No, okay, yeah, I think we're good. So, yeah, man. So first fight of the night, we got Chris De La Rocha versus Juan Adams, and if this wasn't a squash match, I don't know what is, to be honest. Juan Adams is definitely green. I mean, he's only 4-0. He's a former wrestler, really good wrestling. I just don't think De La Rocha has any business in UFC. I don't think he's good at all. The one thing he has going for him is he has a very good chin. He's definitely a tough guy. He looks like a cop. Like the guy, he just has a big belly. He just doesn't look, like a UFC fighter at all. He does have pretty good striking though. Like, he might actually have like more technique than Juan Adams. He might be more technical, but Juan Adams just hits like a truck. I mean, the guy just has really good relentless pressure. And if he gets Chris down, Chris is in trouble. He's probably going to get him down anyways. And I mean, you saw in his Contender Series, I mean, that T guy tried to take down Juan Adams, and Adams just kind of laughed at him. Like, I don't see like a lot of people in this division taking down Juan Adams down. And I just think this guy's huge for the division, man. He's 6'5". The guy probably walks around like well over 300 pounds, man. So I just think whoever the fight goes, Juan Adams is going to absolutely cream him. And I got a first-round finish for Mr. Juan Adams. It's going to be a pass from a betting perspective, but yeah, I'll have him on every lineup in DraftKings. So what about you?
Oh man, 9,500. I don't know about every lineup. You gotta keep some space in there at some points. How many lineups you do a card?
I don't do a lot, bro. I'm not, I'm a better. I'm not a huge DraftKings guy. I mean, I do DraftKings every card, but I mean, the most I do is like maybe like 10 contests. But honestly, I only do like 1 or 2 lineups. Like that's my strategy. Like I don't do a lot of lineups, but I don't do like the big tournaments. I just do like the 50-50s right, and like the single entries. I don't do like those crazy multi-entries,
Okay, yeah. But no, man, Juan Adams should be he should be an even bigger favorite in this fight, man. Like I think he should be like -600 in the spot. Chris De La Rocha, jeez Louise, man. I think a lot of people are overrating his chin because of the last fight and the whole old big old Mexican with a big old head comment. But fact is, Rashad Coulter is a guy who has overrated power, man. Like Rashad Coulter is a former 185-pounder, guys. Rashad Coulter fucking sucks, guys. And, the fact that De La Rocha was able to go out there and beat him, that's impressive, man. But this is, holy shit, like the complete opposite from a former 185-pounder. Here you got a full-bodied 265-pound, like, specimen this guy, Juan Adams is. I think the sky's the limit for him. He is green, and I see a lot of people making an argument for De La Rocha, saying Juan Adams is green. He's 4-0, but guys, Chris De La Rocha is 5-2. When it comes to MMA experience, it's actually pretty close. But yeah, Juan Adams, he's about 10 times more athletic. He hits about 10 times. I don't know if he hits hard. De La Rocha hits hard, but I think at this point, like De La Rocha, even with that not very weathered MMA record, he's taken some damage in the UFC. that Milstead fight, like, dude, that was nasty. He took a lot of damage in that fight. That's why he took so much damn time off. And then, yeah, it's just, yeah, this is a squash match for sure. I got Juan Adams first round KO, and yeah, 9,500, man, he's gonna get a first round KO, and he's gonna pay off that salary. So I don't blame you for having him in DK. I will as well. So moving on to the next fight of the night. Hopefully, Best Fight Odds has the order correct here. But I got Zach Cummings minus 270 taking on Trevor Smith plus 230. Man, like pre-tape, Zach Cummings was actually one of my favorite plays of this card. Then the lines dropped, and he was about minus 270 favorite. Then I actually went in and did the research, man. Like, Trevor Smith is a really strong, decent wrestler, man. Like, and unless you're knocking Trevor Smith out early because he does have a bad chin, Trevor Smith is going to give you a tough fight. And I think that's either Zach Cummings is going to knock out Trevor Smith early. Like, that's how Trevor Smith usually loses. He kind of has a shitty chin. He's real susceptible to big right hands. And Zach Cummings does pack a fucking punch, man. I honestly thought he was going to knock out Prazeres, but we saw what happened there. So basically, what I see happening here is he's going to knock out Trevor Smith early, or Trevor Smith is going to weather that storm, and he's going to wrestle Zach Cummings' ass off in that second and third round. So I say if you're a prop bet guy, take Zach Cummings KO or Trevor Smith, maybe even submission or decision. I think Trevor Smith actually might be able to wear him out and sub him late in the rounds. Trevor Smith actually might be live here, man. I went pre-tape really high on Zach Cummings here and kind of flipped around a little bit. I'm still going to pick Zach Cummings to knock out Trevor Smith in the first round, but I kind of like Trevor Smith for DraftKings because he is a grappler. That's the kind of guy you want to have your money on in DraftKings. And I mean, when it comes to the really, really low price dogs, I like them a hell of a lot more than I like De La Roca and Zach Ottow. So yeah, I'm going to take some Trevor Smith in DraftKings, but I think the most likely outcome is Zach Cummings first round KO. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I actually agree with everything you said. Honestly, like pre-tape, I thought Cummings was going to smoke the guy, and then I watched tape, and Smith looked pretty good against Elias. I mean, I know Elias doesn't have any power, man, but I mean that was a pretty close fight. And Trevor Smith, man, like you could say he has a bad chin, which I think he does, but he's tough though, man. I'm not gonna say he's durable, but he is a tough guy. Like, he can take a shot. And Zach Cummings doesn't throw a lot sometimes. I mean, yeah, he has heavy hands, but just sometimes he doesn't throw. Like I don't know what it is with him. Like the thing is, I feel like his best part of his game is that he has very good, submissions. Like he has a very good Doris. He has really good jiu-jitsu. So he could definitely choke out Smith when Smith, shoots. But the thing is, here, Smith's huge, bro. Smith's going to be the bigger guy, and Cummings just got taken down against, a lightweight, man, with Prazeres. I mean, Prazeres is definitely, should be at 170. But, I mean, the fact that Prazeres took him down, I think Smith could take him down too. I just don't know, like, if Smith's chin's going to be able to hold up because, like I said, Elias doesn't have power, and Smith's been knocked out 4 times. But it's all about if Cummings, goes after it. If Cummings pressures him and, throws the more volume and hurts him, I mean, he could definitely get a finish. But I feel like it's KO or bust, man, for Cummings. I don't think Cummings can win a decision here, and I think it's either gonna, he's either gonna knock out Smith or Smith's gonna, win a decision, man. But like with that being said, I don't think Cummings is gonna knock him out, man. So I do think it's go to the scorecard. So I've been going really back and forth on this fight, but damn, I'm going to take the upset, man. I'm going to take Trevor Hostile Smith to win a decision. Like, it's funny because I don't think Smith's that good, but then I rewatched the tape, and I actually don't think he's, that bad. Like, I don't think he's one of the worst guys in the division. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be a top 15 guy. Like, I just don't think – I can't call him a jobber, I don't think, anymore, unless he gets smoked in this fight. I actually think he could definitely beat Zach Cummings. So, I just think the wrestling, man. I think he's not going to get knocked out. He definitely will probably get dropped in this fight, but I just think he's going to land more takedowns and kind of grind him out. I think he's going to kind of big brother him because Cummings used to be a middleweight, but he definitely, lost a lot of muscle, man. You could tell, like, he's skinny, man. I mean, he is a big dude, but he's not the same, like, big middleweight he was on the Tough card, or I'm sorry, on the Ultimate Fighter. So, I just think Smith's a bigger dude. So I think I got Smith, man, by the grind, by a 29-28 decision. So next fight, we got definitely one of my least favorite fights in the entire card. We got Adam Milstead versus Mike Rodriguez. This is another fight, just like another fight we'll talk about later that I've been going back and forth on. And I got to go with the dog, man, Mike Rodriguez. I know he lost his last fight versus Devin Clark, but Devin Clark has pretty good wrestling. Adam Milstead, doesn't really go for takedowns. I mean, he has a wrestling background. He trains with Stipe, so I'm kind of surprised that Adam doesn't use his wrestling. Like, he might actually use his wrestling here because, that's how Devin Clark won the fight. But if he doesn't get Mike down, I think Mike has a pretty big advantage on the feet. Mike has pretty good striking, and, he's a big dude for the division. Milstead is too. But I don't know, man. Milstead just looked lackluster against Jordan Johnson. I know it was a split, but I thought Jordan Johnson won every round, to be honest. So I don't know how that was a split for Milstead. And Milstead's going out there and, fighting a fight of the night with Rocha. Like, that's not – I don't know, man. That's how you're supposed to do against a guy like that. You got to go out there and steamroll a guy like that, not put on like the hardest one of the hardest fights of your life, and you get a win because the doctor stopped it because of Chris's face. But dude, Chris had a lot of moments in that fight, which is kind of crazy. So I can't pick a guy like Milstead. I got to go with Mike, but I'm not confident. I'm not going to be betting Mike Rodriguez, but he is definitely a live dog. So yeah, I got the dog. What about you?
Dude, I actually really disagree with you. I kind of really like Adam Milstead here, to be honest, man. Mike Rodriguez, I don't really think too highly of at all. So first of all, he actually has like one of the longest reaches in the entire UFC at I believe 82.5 or 83 inch. But the thing is, I haven't really seen him use it. Like the dude is like a total Stefan Struve 2.0 with his reach. Like he has it, he just doesn't really use it. He has okay boxing, but for a guy with such a reach, he doesn't really use his reach. I've seen him go in there and throttle dudes. Props to him. Like he can go out there and beat complete trash cans. And I think some people still think Adam Milstead is a complete trash can, but I disagree, man. Like he went in there against De La Rocha. Like first of all, De La Rocha had probably a good 40 pounds on the guy. So I was surprised. So I'm not surprised he was able to eat all those shots. And second of all, I mean, dude, he outstruck the shit out of De La Rocha there. He beat his ass. Like, for sure, De La Rocha had his moments. Like, he's a big old Mexican with a big old head. But, dude, Milstead, he put it on him in that fight bad. He beat the shit out of him. And that was a UFC debut, up a weight class, too. And then, obviously, Curtis Blades took him to town and gave him a tour of the octagon. That was just absolute massacre. But hey, he's a 205 pounder. He went up there against a top 3, top 4 heavyweight in the entire world, and he took his beating. And man, I don't know. I feel like with that wrestling background, you're right, and I can't trust him because of what you mentioned. And you're so right. He doesn't really use that wrestling. And against Jordan Johnson, I thought he definitely looked he looked a lot better than from what I saw in the regional scene and what I saw in the De La Rocha fight. Like, he just physically he looked a lot better at 205. I don't know. I think he might have Mike Rodriguez's number here anywhere. He might outstrike him. I think he might be able to he definitely will out wrestle him if he goes for it. I think he knows he kind of has to in this fight. So we'll see. I'm not going to trust him. Just because I don't know, I can't trust him just because he doesn't use his strength. Supposedly wrestling is his strength. We'll see if he actually has it in this fight. The striking's close though. I don't think Mike Rodriguez has him outgunned by any means. So Adam Milstead's the rightful favorite. I'll say second round TKO, man. I got the favorite, and I'm gonna have him in DraftKings too because I think there's a high likelihood of a finish. So moving on to the next fight, man, we got Dan Ige minus 175 taking on Jordan Griffin plus 155. You got to play. I'll let you start with it.
I think the next one is actually Jesse Clark versus KBG. To be honest, right? That's what I have on the
I'm going on best fight odds.
Okay, I'm on Wikipedia. Okay, we can start off with that fight then. So yeah, man. So we got Dan Ige versus Jordan Griffin, and this is a good fight, man. I actually bet the underdog at plus 155. I got Jordan Griffin 3 units, and Ige, he is, he's looked pretty good, man, in the UFC. I mean, he's only fought, he's only beaten jobbers, to be honest. I mean, the guy fought in the Contender Series, he actually beat Sodik, Yusuf, but that was like a kind of a fluke. Like, he knocked him out with like a slam. And on that Contender Series fight, I mean, yeah, man, he got the win, he got the submission win, but he got taken down in that fight multiple times, and he got hit a lot in that fight too. Ige, he walks forward and he gets hit a lot, man. Like, he's durable, he can eat the shots, but I mean, I feel like once he fights like a guy with a lot of power, he's gonna get knocked out. And when he fought Julio Arce kind of just beat his ass, man. He dominated that fight. Arce's a good fighter too, but Jordan Griffin's a good striker, man. I know this is his debut, but the guy's a very good left hand, good pressure, trains at Rufus Sport. He's won 9 out of his last 10 fights. And, I mean, you can sit here and say that Ike's fought in the better competition, but I do think that Jordan Griffin would also steamroll Mike the Can Santiago, to be honest. And Jordan Griffin has a big size advantage in this fight for sure. He's a lot bigger than him. He fights, really long, and I think he's the better striker in this fight for sure. I do think he has the better hands. I think he's better on the feet for sure. I think the Ike's best game, though, is, getting you on the ground and kind of grinding you out. He has good jiu-jitsu, but, I mean, Griffin has good jiu-jitsu too. Griffin has a lot of wins by submission. So I just don't know, man, how Ike is going to win this fight if he doesn't get him down. I think he has to get Jordan Griffin down to win this fight. And we've seen Jordan Griffin actually has pretty good takedown defense. He actually has good takedowns, too. I won't be surprised. I don't be surprised Jordan Griffin takes down Dan Ige. Jordan Griffin's last loss was a 5-round fight against Juan Archuleta. We actually just talked about a couple hours ago out there. But, yeah, man, that guy's really good, man. And Jordan Griffin's, I just think the striking, man's going to, get the difference here done. So, yeah, man, I got Jordan Griffin. I think he's going to have some really good counter striking, and Ige is just going to walk forward and just get hit a lot, man. So I got Jordan Griffin with a finish here, man. I think he's going to hurt him on the feet, and he's going to tap him out. And I know that's a big statement because Ige, is a very tough guy to finish. But I just think the size advantage, and Griffin's going to get him down, man, tap him out. So I got Jordan Griffin with I'm going to go with a 2nd round Darce choke. What about you?
Man, that's bold. You think he taps out the black belt, huh?
I do, man.
That's very, very bold, Justin. That's very bold.
He has like 10 wins by sub. Or wait, 8 wins by sub. My bad. Go ahead.
Against no one really near the level of Ige, though, bro.
Who's Ige beating?
I'll be honest with you, man. This is the most recent fight I did tape for. I honestly did it like 3 hours ago as soon as I got home from work. And, dude, I think you might have some value here on Jordan Griffin. Dan Ige he leaves a lot to desire on the feet, in my opinion, and he is a really fantastic grappler. But the thing is, I don't know if he's just gonna quite be able to get it down to the ground, and if it stays on the feet, I'm gonna edge the better striker, and I think the better striker is Jordan Griffin. I think he's a pretty good talent out of Rufus Sport, so I like your value there, man. I just don't know if Ige's gonna be able to pull this one off. Props to him. I cashed a pretty decent-sized bet on him last time against that complete fraud Mike Santiago. And I cashed on Ige twice, actually. I bet on him in his Contender Series fight. He was dog money there as well. So I'm a fan of Danny Ige for sure. But and I wanted to like him going into this fight, but I think your guy might have him beat here on the feet. So I'm going to go with Jordan Griffin as well. I'm going to say he wins a clean 30-27 decision.
I just think that's, Ige, I respect him, man. He's, I don't think he's a jobber by any means, but he has to get him down. He has to control him. I don't think he's going to tap out Jordan Griffin. He has to grind him out for 3 rounds, and I see Jordan Griffin getting back up. And, you watch this fight at the Contender Series, I know he fought, not the best guy. He's 11-1, the guy from Alaska, Maurice Mitchell. And I think Maurice Mitchell was the favorite. I don't even know how, but damn, man, that guy's a good striker, man. And Jordan Griffin went out there and, hurt him on the feet and tapped him out. So I just think the way this guy's striking is, it's good counter striking, very good left hand. He's just a better striker, man. And all he has to do is keep it on the feet. But I can see him getting takedowns here, too. That's the thing. He has good wrestling. Ige can get taken down, too. But the size is going to be, I think, play a big factor. So, yeah. Next one.
Fight doesn't go the distance is -175. I wouldn't expect it to be that favored. I know you're picking Griffin to win by finish here, but I think this is for the most part an evenly matched fight, and I don't see either guy finishing either guy. So I'm surprised that fight goes to the decision is +135. But if it comes to a finish, I think if anyone gets a finish, it'll be Ige getting a sub. But I don't know, man. It's a good fight. That line seems weird to me.
Both these guys are kind of brawlers. Jordan Griffin's a brawler, man, for sure. He puts on a lot of exciting fights, and Ige, likes to throw down too. So I mean, I do think that this fight's not going to go the distance, to be honest.
I'll say this: your boy is also twice as experienced. He has twice the amount of fights.
Yeah, he's 17-5, man. I mean, he has 5 losses, but the guy's won 9 of his last 10. So
he's for sure paid his dues. Definitely, I like this guy. I don't know how far he'll go, but I think you win.
Thanks, man. One more thing. I know you said that Ige's beaten better competition. Who's Ige beaten that Jordan Griffin can't beat? Like, you don't think Jordan Griffin could beat Mike Santiago?
No, of course he can. Of course he can.
And I do think Griffin would smoke the guy in the Contender Series too. I don't think that guy's that good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a good fight,
And
man. We'll see.
he lost to Arce. Like, but I mean, I don't know if Griffin can beat Arce. We'll see. We'll have to see how they both look, in the future. But
so,
yeah,
man, the first of my 4 plays. It's my smallest play of the card. I'm taking a shot here, guys. We got Jack Hermanson -200 taking on Gerald Meerschaert GM3 +170. Dude, I was so impressed by GM3 in his last fight against Oscar Piachota. Oscar Piachota, guys, let me tell you something. That guy he's a legit prospect. He's a really, really good fighter. And GM3, he took his ass beating up front, and he just showed his veteran, grizzled, comeback ability. Like, the dude is tough as fuck. He's a savage. He's very well-rounded, man. I like that he's at home for this one. Like, he's an underrated striker. He has really, really hard kicks. And I feel like on the feet, Jack Hermanson, Jack Hermanson's a fucking wild man on the feet. Like, he's a force. Like, he's really big in there. He makes his presence known, and he hits really, really hard as well. Like, this is going to be a really entertaining fight on the feet. When it comes to the grappling, man, like, I know Jack Hermanson has gone and take some guys down, pounding them out. He has really, really hard, tough ground and pound, but he hasn't really done that to anyone good. I mean, look at a time he's actually been on the mat with someone good. I know it was Caesar taking it there and all, but Caesar, let's not lie here. Caesar Montage absolutely outclassed Hermanson on the mat there, and I don't know if Meerschaert is quite Caesar level on the mat. Meerschaert, is he brown belt, black belt?
I'm pretty sure he's a black belt, to be honest. I'm gonna check right now, but I'm pretty sure he is.
He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
No, I think he's a black, bro.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm gonna check right now. I'm pretty sure, man. His jiu-jitsu is nasty.
Yeah, either way, man. Gerald Meerschaert has very nasty jiu-jitsu, and I believe he definitely has the advantage on the mat. So I think Jack isn't going to be able to go out there and win this fight via the same way he's won some of his UFC fights. I just don't see him taking down. Well, he's going to take down Meerschaert most likely, but
He's a brown belt.
Yeah. Meerschaert's going to give him fucking fits. Meerschaert's not only really good offensively jiu-jitsu, like he's really tough to deal with off his back too, man. Like, Jack's going to be in a world of trouble if he takes him down there. Like if I'm Jack's corner, I wouldn't advise that. I wouldn't take that game plan. Like, this is not the Brad Scotch of the world anymore. GM3 is serious, man, and like he's on like a really serious run, like taking away the Thiago Santos fight. What has he won the last 9 out of his last 10 or 10 out of his last 11? And that's fucking Thiago Santos, dude. We just saw what a savage that guy is last time, and honestly, man, like I would argue that GM3 might even have the better wins on the feet. I mentioned he's got those hard kicks. I think there's 2 things he can do with those hard kicks, man. He can leg kick Hermanson, slow him down, shot down that power, or kick those ribs, man. Because we've seen Jack Hermanson hurt to the body. His last 2 was Santos and Leighty's his last 2 fights, I believe. So we've seen him get hurt to the body his last 2 fights. So I don't know, man. I think Meerschaert might have something for him on the feet. He's definitely got the advantage on the mat. He's really good later in fights. Like, he thrives. Like, he's so tough. I feel like the later the fight goes, it's going to be better for him as well. I don't see this line for Jack Hermanson at all, man. I think this should be a closely lined fight, if that. Like, maybe even like pick 'em odds, in my opinion. So I took the 2-unit shot on Meerschaert, plus 205 to win 4.1. So let's go GM3. I'm gonna take a 3rd round submission. I'll say triangle choke.
I like it, man. GM3 is one of my favorite fighters, man. I like the guy a lot. I mean, I was so impressed in his debut against Gigliotti. I know Gigliotti's kind of a can, but yeah, this is actually a hard fight for me to call. I've been going back and forth in this fight. And before I say who I think is going to win, let's talk about both guys. So GM3, man, he has 20 wins by sub, man. I mean, the guy has definitely turned his corner around. I mean, he's been sub 7 times, but, I mean, they were a long time ago. I mean, he's won 9 of his last 10. Now he's at Rufus 4. his striking's improved a lot. I mean, you watch the fight with Spicy, man. I mean, he hurt him in the body bad. The one thing I got to say about GM3 is he gets taken down. He got taken down versus Spicy. Spicy kind of just controlled him the whole first round of the ground. Last fight, Oscar Pejoda took him down, kind of controlled him a little bit. But the guy's, he doesn't quit. He's a very tough guy, and he's really good, man, off his back as well. He's good on top. His striking's improved, like I just mentioned. But a guy like Joker, you can say that both guys have kind of fought the similar level of competition, but Joker has good wrestling. When he gets you on top, man, I mean, it's kind of hard to get out. Joker has brutal ground and pound, and that fight with Waties, man, I know it was a kind of a hairy fight, but the guy broke his rib in the first round. And yeah, Waties is retired now, and he definitely was on the decline, but the guy is still a pretty good fighter. Like, the guy is hard to finish, too. And the fact that Joker went out there and finished him in the third round, Waties had him in some nasty chokes, man, some anaconda chokes. And that's actually, anaconda chokes definitely GM3 is one of his best, chokes. So, I mean, I can definitely see GM3 tapping out Hermanson, but I can definitely see Hermanson getting on top, too, and laying some brutal ground and pound. I mean, GM3 is a very tough dude to knock out. The only person to do it is Thiago Santos. On the feet, Joker has very good movement. I like it. It's very awkward. He's fast. He has good striking, too. I actually think Hermanson's the better striker. I think that he has more, volume, and he's a little more technical, but I do think GM3 has good kicks. His hands, I don't think, aren't the best, but I do think that he could possibly hurt Joker on the feet. I just think this could definitely be a 3-round war. I mean, it could be back and forth. Both guys, I think, have good jiu-jitsu, but I don't know, man. I really do want GM3 to win. He is a live dog for sure, but I just can't get out of my mind when Joker's on top, man. It's just his ground and pound is really good, man, and I definitely see him taking down GM3. I don't know if GM3 takes Joker down. He can, but I just think Joker has the better wrestling. But if Joker gasses out and doesn't if he wastes a lot of energy in the first round, I could definitely see GM3 coming back, kind of like how he did against Pejoda. But that was at first L time for Pejoda. Joker's paid his due, so I've been going back and forth. I hope he cash because I don't have any play in it, but I'm gonna go with Joker, man. I think he's gonna go out there and get him down and just land some heavy shots, man. I think he's gonna get GM3 out of there. So I'm gonna go with the second round finish due to ground pound for Joker. So next fight, I believe, is because I think you're doing it off the best fight odds, but I'm doing it off of Wikipedia.
Yeah, Andrea Lee, Jessica Rose Clark.
Okay, because on Wikipedia, I think the next fight is Gordon versus Silva, but we'll just do the KBG. So we got KBG versus Jessica Rose Clark, and yeah, man, I see a lot of people out there taking the shot on Jessica Rose Clark. I actually bet her last fight against Jessica and got burned. Jessica, I beat her ass from the feet. I actually just rewatched it a couple hours ago, and I do think that Andrea Lee has holes in her game for sure. I think that she could be faded down the line, but I just think that she's better, wherever the fight goes in this fight, man. I mean, the girl has really good Muay Thai. She's really good in the clinch. She's huge, man, for 125. She's been doing her whole camp with Aspen Ladd, and I mean, that's only going to help her here. She has good judo throws. I think she can definitely take down Rose Clark, kind of grind her out. But on the feet, dude, she's nasty in the clinch, man. I actually think she could definitely hurt Clark. And Clark's like, what, 5-5 when it goes to decision? I don't think Clark's going to be able to knock or finish Andrea Lee. And Lee has good submissions too, man. So I don't know if we get to finish here because Clark's pretty tough to finish, but I just think Lee, man, is going to be a tough out for Clark, man. I don't think Clark's gotten better, and I think Lee's improved, man. I mean, you watch her fight with Macedo, Cleo's girlfriend. Yeah, man, she's not the best fighter. She has good striking, but I mean, Lee, she took some big shots, but she has a good chin, man. She won every round, in my opinion. Yeah, she made a couple bad mistakes, a couple of her arm throws or judo throws or whatever. But I just think Lee has this fight wherever she wants, to be honest. So I'm gonna go with Lee with a pretty dominant decision. What about you?
Yeah, man. I agree with you, man. I don't think much of all Jessica Rose Clark at all. There's a reason I faded Jessica Rose Clark against Beck Rawlings. Unfortunately, lost there. But I mean, the fact that she's going to split decisions with Beck Rawlings and even Karina Dam in Titan FC, like she went to split decision with Karina Dam in 2017. I don't know if you know who that is, but we're talking complete soccer mom.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Beat Paige Van Zandt. Like, she started off her UFC career 2-0 and lost to Jessica Eye. Clearly, we've seen Jessica Eye has made some improvements. So, taking on a different kind of task here with Andrea Lee. Andrea Lee, man, like, she's jacked, man, and she hits hard for a 125-pound woman for sure. I've seen her just absolutely ice girls in Invicta. I don't think she does that here, man, but I think technique-wise, you're right. She's probably better everywhere, man. So I don't know. Not gonna. It's simple breakdown for me, but I got Andrea KGB Lee by 30-27 decision on all three scorecards. Jessica Rose Clark, I don't know, man. Obviously, I think her path here is to wrestle and just kind of hold KGB down and ground and pound. But I don't know. I don't know if I really even see that. I think KGB is. Yeah, you're right. You pretty much nailed it. She has holes, but this is definitely a winnable fight. The line's probably right. So moving on to the next one, man. This is an interesting prospect I'm ready to see. We got Dwight Grant minus 290 taking on Zach Ottow plus 245. Now, man, I didn't really remember. I probably even missed it. That's probably why I don't remember his Contender Series fight. But when I went back and watched it, like, holy shit, dude, Dwight Grant's good. He is going to smash Zach Ottow here. I think Zach Ottow, he's probably seen better days. The way he just lost to Sage Northcutt was really a red flag, especially like, dude, he was winning that fight, and he had the right game plan against Sage. I think that fight just kind of showed, like, I don't know. I don't know. Zach Ottow has a lot of mileage. Like, go back and watch his regional fights. Like, dude, I don't know. Zach Ottow, like, I feel like he came into the UFC as a weathered fighter, and that's why he kind of went and had, like, terrible, boring split decision fights with Josh Berkman and shit. Like, I don't know. Zach Ottow is he's a bad fighter in my opinion. And Dwight Grant, he's a serious prospect, and he's probably just going to come out here and beast Zach Ottow. There's entirely the chance that Zach Ottow, he's fought at the higher level. He's been in there with the better guys. There's totally the chance he can go out here and give Dwight Grant the old vet lesson. Like, I can't sit here and say I'd be totally shocked, of course, but Dwight Grant's going to put the business on this guy. I say first round KO, and just like Juan Adams, man, I think he's worth the DraftKings money. But going back to the KGB fight about DraftKings money, I think KGB at 9,300, like, yeah, she is $100 less than Dwight Grant, but dude, I'd 100 times rather have this guy than KGB for around the same price. KGB is probably going to win a 70-point decision. Dwight Grant's probably about to go out and smoke Zach Ottow and get 115 points. So I really like the newcomer here, man. What do you think of him?
Yeah, dude, I actually bet Ottow versus Sage, and yeah, that was pretty embarrassing because Ottow had that fight and then he just quit. He's quit multiple times too. He quit versus Lee. He quit in this fight. Yeah, he's one of the worst guys in the division. I was hoping that he would get Nico Price because my boy Nico would, yeah, smoke him. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And Zach Otto's stepping up, making this on short notice. It's supposed to be Eric Koch at welterweight versus Dwight Grant. That would actually be pretty interesting. I mean, Eric Koch is definitely on the decline, but that would be definitely a tougher fight than Zach Ottow for sure. Zach Ottow is definitely, like I just mentioned, one of the worst fighters in the roster. Striking's not good. He has to get him down. I don't think he's going to be able to get Dwight Grant down. And yeah, that fight in Contender Series, he beat one of Jason Knight's training partners. And yeah, dude, this striking's good. He trains AKA, I'm pretty sure. And he's a little older too. I think he's like 31. He looks like he's like 25, but I think he's a good prospect, man. He's going to get a finish here for sure. So I'm pretty sure either one of us have like the order wrong, but I'm going off of Wikipedia. So next fight we got go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay, so next fight we got Jared Gordon versus Joaquin Silva. We both have a play in this fight. I have 4 units on Silva at plus 175, and yeah, you could say that Diego Pereira is maybe better than Silva, but I don't know, man. Diego he almost lost, man, to a 45. We'll talk about that in his next fight. But anyways, I bet Diego versus Jared Gordon, and I got him like a plus 250 or something like that. I don't even know how I got that, and he went out there and smoked Jared Gordon. And my problem with Jared Gordon is one of my biggest reasons in this fight is that the guy has no business fighting at 155. He's not a big 155er at all. He's one of the smallest guys at 55, and he's just gonna get run over in my opinion. Man, he needs to go to 145, and I mean, the guy just taking a lot of damage. He's going to get knocked out against guys at 145 too. Like I think the guy has potential, but at 145, like his game is, he has good pressure, man. Like that's how he broke Hacker Diaz. But Hacker Diaz is his jobber, dude. Like the dude just he gasses every fight, and Jared Gordon has good wrestling too. But the thing with Joaquin Silva is, like I just mentioned, he's fighting up a weight class, so he should not even be at 55. But Joaquin Silva has really good takedown defense. I know that Reza Mazzotti, took him down, but that's Reza Mazzotti. Reza Mazzotti is a big ass 155er and a good grappler, man. And that was not a split. I don't know how that's a split. Silva definitely won that fight. And then versus Pichel took him down once, but then he got right back up. I like his good game a lot, and that was, dude. Pichel was shocked he won that fight. I thought that Silva clearly won 2 of those rounds, but one big read in this fight I think that Silva has going for him is that he has a really good counter game. That's his best game. I feel like his counter striking, and that's going to work when all Jared Gordon does is walk forward and eat shots, and he doesn't even have good head movement or anything really, man. So I think that Joaquin Silva's going to hurt him on the feet. And I like Joaquin Silva, man. He's the better striker. He's more technical. He has good get-up game. He has good jiu-jitsu, too. You can definitely tap out Jared Gordon, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just think that the better striker is going to keep it on the feet, and he's going to put Jared Gordon away. So the guy has no business 155. I think that he could win fights at 145, and he won fights before, but he beat Quinones, who stays Northcutt dominated, who that dude sucks so bad. And then, he beat Hacker and Diaz. But Hacker and Diaz, that was a kind of a close fight. It was 1-1 going in the third. And, Hacker Diaz had his moments in that fight, man. But, he just gassed, man. I just don't think Gordon's going to be able to control him on the mat. He might get a takedown, but I think Silva, Neto BJJ is going to be able to get right back up and punish him on the feet. So, I got Joaquin Silva with a knockout in the first round. Oh, one more thing I want to mention is that he really rips at the body really nasty. He can definitely hurt Jared Gordon there for sure.
Yeah, man. You nailed that breakdown. How much you got on it? 4 units?
Yeah, so it's my biggest play. We'll have one more play later. That's 4 units too, but 4 units.
Yeah, man. It's my biggest play too. I got 3.5 units. I'm either gonna add more on Neto or I'm gonna add more on somebody else I'm betting on later in the card. One of the two I'm gonna add more on. Even though that Neto line got steam, man. People know now for sure. I'm so surprised this guy's the underdog, even still. Man, and no, don't really want to throw shade out there, but seeing people bet Jared Gordon at -210, that's pretty fucking hilarious, isn't it?
Now he's -155. Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna disrespect people that are betting Gordon. You guys have a good read, we're going against each other. I just think that it's a good matchup for Silva, man. It's the guy has to get him down. He has to hold Silva down because on the feet it's a mismatch. There's no way this guy's gonna have any success on the feet versus Silva.
Dude, I don't think Jared Gordon's gonna have success anywhere. The line, the way the line was, Jared Gordon -210. It should be Neto BJJ -210 in this spot, man. He has him so outgunned on the feet, and you covered most of the aspects of this fight technique wise for sure. But going back through Neto BJJ's record, man, Joaquin Silva, this guy should be undefeated for sure. In my opinion, I definitely agree with you. He won. He clearly won 2 out of those 3 rounds against Vince Pichel, and even going back to the split decisions, This is why it's funny because we joke about this in our group chat about wiki capping, but this is exactly why you can't wiki cap, because if you look at Joaquin Silva's record, you see that he went to split decision with Nazareno Maljarari, split decision with Reza Madadi, lost a decision to Vince Pichel. Go and watch those fights. He clearly won 2 of those rounds against Nazareno, clearly won 2 of those rounds against Reza Madadi. And I can't believe it's a unanimous decision for Pichel, but I clearly give 2 of those rounds for Neto BJJ. And, of course, he absolutely smoked Andrew Holbrook like he should have, 34 seconds. This dude has massive power, and I think that's going to be a big advantage for him against a guy who's simply going to look a lot smaller in there. And, oh, man, this is such a bad matchup for Jared Gordon, bro, because, the way Jared Gordon wins this fight is with his wrestling. And the fact that he's such a smaller guy, oh man, is so much less athletic. Jesus Christ, man. Like, this is a bad matchup for Jared Gordon. I can't believe the line. We're going to cash this, man. And speaking of consensus bets, so far since we started in November, we're 2-1 on our consensus bets. We both had Yair Rodriguez. We both had Israel Adesanya. Our only loss was Darren Stewart. We're going to be 3-1 after this one, bro, for sure.
I hope, man. My only thing, like, with Gordon is that he's a tough guy, though. Like, you know, you have to go out there and kill him, but like Diego did. But because the guy's just, you know, he's been through a lot, you know, with all that stuff, you know, that he's been going through. But so we have to kill him to get him out of there. But it's just a bad matchup for him. The guy needs to go to 145.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I think Neto BJJ hits a lot harder than Diego Ferreira. I think he might even be like Ferreira's a jiu-jitsu guy. Like, of course, Ferreira's like he's got great striking, but I would argue Neto is an even worse matchup for Jared Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Neto's a counter striker, so I do think that Diego like throws a little more, but a counter striker against a guy like Jared Gordon, who all he does is move forward and eat shots to land one, that's not good when you're going against a guy like Neto BJJ who hits like a truck. So that's why this matchup, man, is just a really good matchup for.
Dude, why do you think people keep overrating Jared Gordon? Like, he was, like you mentioned, he was like plus 250. Or no, he was a huge favorite against Diego, like minus 300. Now he opened at like a huge favorite here.
Probably the Hackren win. I mean, I know Hackren's a jobber, but I mean, Hackren's still like been around for a while, and he's kind of, I guess, he's beaten some pretty decent guys.
Hackren's out there in the regional scene fighting jobbers now. Let's like Hackren's not in the UFC. Hackren has some good wins in the UFC, but he did not fight the when it comes to USADA victims, that's all I'm gonna say. Hackren might be the biggest one.
Gordon's kind of a fan favorite. He eats shots. He's in wars. He takes you down.
He beat the shit out of that guy that Sage beat, Quinones. He beat the fuck out of that guy. That was a really exciting debut, but I don't know.
He did, but he still ate a lot of shots, man. Like, I don't. He eats a lot of shots.
He does, yeah. It's gonna be a bad one for him, man.
I know that, like, we're like, you know, like repeating. I'm just saying the fact that I just don't. This guy has no business at 155. Like, I'm sorry, I'm saying it 1,000 times. It might like bite me in the ass, but I just think that the guy has no business up there.
Yeah, let's go Neto. So you want to move on to the next one here?
Yeah, man.
Is it Drakkar Klose minus 275 taking on Bobby Green plus 235? I think the line's about right here, man. Bobby Green, like, it's pretty safe to say he's on the decline. He's not really the guy who he once was. He I don't know. He's looked a lot lackluster for a really long time now. Like, he used to come out and fight really well. Like, Bobby Green, like, back in the day, had some of the sharpest boxing in the sport, man. Like, he's a very intelligent, good boxer, and I don't know, man. Maybe he comes out here and he trained like the hardest he ever has in his life for this fight. Like, I don't really know. It depends. I think it really all depends how much investment Bobby Green has in the sport at this point. Is he just showing up for a paycheck, or did he have a Rocky type training camp for this one, man? Because I don't know. I feel like if we see the best version of Bobby Green, he might be able to come out here and just kind of piece up Drakkar a little bit on the feet. But, you know, Drakkar is looking good, man. He's all right. Like, I know he got that big win against Lando, but I mean, did you see Lando's last fight? What the fuck happened to that guy? So I don't know. And Drakkar, even Drakkar had questionable performances against Diakiese. Like, I don't know. I'm not sold on Drakkar as like a top 25 guy yet. And Bobby Green still has, although he's definitely lost a step, still some of the sharpest boxing in the division. So I don't know. Just with a lot left in the tank, like, he's in his prime. Bobby Green's on the decline. You have to favor Drakkar Klose, in my opinion. So I'll pick Drakkar Klose. I'll say 29-28 unanimous. But at the line, I'd rather bet Bobby Green.
Yeah, I definitely think this line is off. I think it's a lot closer than it is. I mean, I don't think Bobby Green's a jobber by any means. The guy's, you know, he's still like a pretty decent fighter. I mean, he's in tough fights. The Lando fight was kind of crazy. Lando almost finished him, and he came back, and, you know, it was a draw. I don't know, man. I mean, Green could have won that fight. Yeah, he goes out there and gets knocked out against DP, but that's DP. DP's a top 5 guy in the division. Klose is weird, man. Like, I do think he's good. I do think he has a lot of potential. Just, you know, he has a weird movement, weird striking. he had that weird fight with Tamer, which is close, but Tamer did win that fight for sure. And then he went out there and won every round versus Lando. He has good takedowns too. I don't know if he's going to be able to take down a guy like Bobby Green, who has pretty damn good takedown defense. And Green could take him down too, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know if this fight's going to hit the mat. I think on the feet, Klose just kind of like hit, kind of just like hit and run, maybe throw a little more volume. Bobby Green has probably better striking. Like Bobby Green's probably like more technical maybe, but I mean I could just see Klose kind of just throwing a little more volume. So I'll go with Klose by decision too, but I'm not confident.
One more thing on this fight. The line on goes to decision is -275. You kind of just hinted at it. This fight's probably going to be a closely contested 3-round striking battle. Probably won't hit the mat. I don't really see either guy finishing each other. This is one of those fights you fade on DraftKings. If anything, take Bobby Green because he'll probably hang around for 3 rounds, get 25 points, but don't pay that big money on Drakkar Klose, in my opinion.
Yeah, Klose, all of his fights in UFC are by decision, and Bobby Green has a good chin. The dude is super tough, and like he's taking a lot of damage, but I mean the guy's been around for a long time, and the guy's been in a lot of close fights, so I wouldn't be surprised if he made this fight close and won the fight. I do think it's going to be close. It's going to be 29-28, I think, like you already mentioned. Yeah. But I'm going to have to go with the younger and, fresher guy, Klose. So next fight, we got first fight of the main card. We got Jim Miller versus Charles Oliveira. The first fight, we all know what happened in that fight. And, now we got the rematch. And, yeah, man, I think Charles Oliveira's going to win this fight. I think he definitely has more miles in the tank left. I think he's better on the feet. I think he has good pressure. I think he's going to hurt Jim Miller. Jim Miller, was on a 4-fight losing streak. I faded him versus Alex White. Did you fade him too? We both did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. Alex White got smoked in that fight. But, I mean, this is Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, man, is he's improved a lot. Like, he's a quitter, man, for sure. But, I mean, I really do think that he's going to hurt Jim Miller and get him out of there. I don't think he's going to tap out Jim Miller, but I think he's going to hurt him, man, bad, man, and get a TKO. So I'm going to go Charles Oliveira. I'm not, confident at all. This is kind of a washed up fight. Like Jim Miller's kind of washed up. You can say Oliveira's kind of washed up. They're both on the decline, but I'll just go with who I think the better striker is, and I think Charles Oliveira is a better striker. So yeah, I got Oliveira. What about you?
Man, this is amazing. Over 50 combined UFC fights from these two guys. Over 50 combined. That's just amazing, but it also, you just said it, man, it kind of speaks to the damage and miles that these guys have gone through. And I'm going to be honest, I think these two, I said at the beginning of the show, I think these two are about to go in there and fucking scrap it out. This is my pick for fight of the night, man. This might be the fight I'm most excited for on the card. I think these two, I think there's animosity from the first fight, man. I think Bronx really fucking wants this one back, and I think Jim Miller wants to prove that he is. Jim Miller's on a fucking hot streak right now, man. Like that win over Alex White, that was serious, man. That shit he was going through. What did he have? Did he have? It was Lyme disease. Like he was going through his Lyme disease. He was going through his Lyme disease shit for a little while, and that's kind of what you can attribute the really, really bad Diego Sanchez loss to. Like he was going through some shit at that time, but honestly, man, like ever since Jim Miller has came back from that, some of these performances, he solidly unanimous decisioned Thiago Alves, which was pretty sweet. The Poirier fight, like he looked good against Poirier. Like if you can go in there and have a war and not get sparked by Poirier, I think he's going to be able to come in here and give Charles Oliveira a really tough fight. Even the Pettis fight, he hung in tough. It was really just the sniper Hooker that was able to get him out of there. But we're going to talk about Hooker later and how amazingly accurate that guy is. But yeah, man, absolutely thrashed Alex White, and I think that's the first win of that might be the first win of a win streak for him, man. I think Jim Miller's live here, but it's hard to. It's definitely different to call him live and then to actually pick him. I think Bronx, obviously, he's still only 28 years old. Jim Miller, over 30 UFC fights, been knocked out a few times. He's lost a step on the feet. Like he's gonna make this a tough one, but the better guy, the younger guy, is probably gonna end up prevailing. So unless Stu Bronx doesn't pull an absolute quit job, he should probably submit Jim Miller in the late rounds. Like, I'll say Du Bronx, third round. I'll say Darce choke, man. So, yeah, I'll say Du Bronx, third round submission. It's going to be a fucking war, though. So, it's a good fight for me to target on DraftKings. I think there's value on Jim Miller. I think he can hang and score a lot of points. Maybe even get a knockdown or two. Maybe even get this guy to quit. Who the fuck knows? But if Oliveira wins, Oliveira's probably going to snatch another sub and extend that amazing record he has with submissions. So I'm really looking forward to this fight, man. My favorite on the card. What do you think?
Yeah, I already said who I thought was going to win.
Oh, did you?
Are you still talking about Jim Miller?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'm the one who announced it, bro.
Okay, yeah, I'm losing my shit here. I kind of rambled for a minute. Moving on to the next one, man. Robbie Font. We got Rob Font minus 165 taking on Sergio Pettis plus 145. Dude, Rob Font, man, this is a big size advantage here for Rob Font. Like, this is the biggest factor in the fight for me. Like, this is dude, I'm so high on Sergio Pettis. Sergio Pettis is the man, but what we have here, guys, is an elite 135 pounder versus an elite 125 pounder, and Sergio, he's probably going to have a speed advantage in there. And you know what? Like, overall, MMA striking wise, and especially like point fighting wise, like overall tools in the striking, he's got really nasty kicks. Like, Rob Font's a sick boxer, but Sergio Pettis is probably the overall better technique MMA striker. And I don't know, man. Like, like Sergio, who knows? He might be able to just run around and kick Font and land some pitter-patter jabs the whole fight. But I see Font kind of going in there and bullying him. I see him going in there landing the way harder shots. I think Sergio Pettis kind of has a questionable chin. I think Font may be able to go in there and really, really hurt him. But I'll give Sergio the benefit of the doubt. I think Rob Font just kind of just hurts him early, and I don't want to say coasts, but he's gonna feel comfortable from there, man. I just think he's just gonna be one step ahead of Sergio Pettis. Like, Rob Font is one of the best boxers in the division, man. Like, I know Sergio has great kicks, but Rob Font is no slouch of a striker, bro. This guy is so good. Like, I'm so high on Rob Font, and a lot of people will discredit that Thomas Almeida win, saying Thomas Almeida has no chin. Thomas Almeida was winning the fight too. He really was, but man, Rob Font's tough. Like, I like this guy as a fighter a lot, and it's an elite 135 pounder versus elite 125 pounder. Font's going to be landing the harder shots. He's going to be the one controlling the clinch when it's there. He's going to be the stronger guy, and I know Sergio. He's all right on the mat for sure. I definitely don't think he's as good on the mat as his brother Anthony, but Rob Font's actually really underrated on the mat, man. So I'd be really interested to see if this fight hits the mat. I actually would think Rob Font being the stronger guy, I think he might have the advantage down there. So I guess I kind of like Font wherever this fight goes, man. So he's my third play of the night. I got a really good line on him. I got 2.5 units at minus 105. So let's go Font. I say he wins a 30-27 decision, man. He's just going to be the bully in there. He's going to land the harder shots in there.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth in this fight. So pre-tape I had Font, and then after tape I had Font, and I changed my pick to Pettis. But now I'm going to go with Font, dude, as well, man. I do think that the wrestling's going to play a big factor here. I do think that Font might look to take him down. He has a better wrestling. I mean, we saw him take down Douglas Silva and Andrade. He has good submissions, too. The thing is, like, I know Pedro hurt him on the feet. They went for a takedown and got subbed. I don't think Pettis is going to tap him out. But, yeah, Robbie Font's a natural 135er. I mean, he's big. He's fought at featherweight, too. And Pettis, has fought at 135, fought at 125 most of his life, but I mean, he's definitely going to be outsized. I mean, Robbie's definitely going to be the bigger guy. And yeah, man, Robbie has more power on the feet. He has really good boxing. I mean, Pettis is probably more technical, though. I do think that Pettis definitely could be throwing more volume out there. I don't think he's going to hurt Robbie Font. I mean, you could say both guys are chinny for sure, but I think Font has a better chin. I think Font has more ways to win this fight. And yeah, man, I mean, I just think Font's going to win a decision. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I'll go with Font with using his wrestling here for sure. So next fight.
One more thing. I totally agree about Font's wrestling, man. Like, one more thing. You know who Rob Font fought in his second pro fight?
No, who?
Desmond Green.
Oh wow, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's
current
crazy.
current 155-pounder, and Desmond Green, he did go out there and out wrestle Rob Font, but Font's wrestling looked like decent there. Like he had his moments in the scrambles, and that's a 155-pounder Desmond Green. Like Rob Font can wrestle, and yeah, he can win the fight that way. So Rob Font, let's go.
So next fight, we have another play that we're both betting on. So that's what, twice on the night that we're both betting on someone, or this is once?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's twice.
So, twice. So we got Dan Hooker versus Essen Barbosa, and this is a very good fight. So pre-tape, I was going Barbosa, but after tape, man, I had to do it, man, and I bet on Daniel Hooker 4 units at -115, and yeah, man, I do think that Hooker is going to win this fight. Obviously, I know how good Barbosa is. Barbosa is a very good striker, but make no mistake about it, he definitely is on the decline. And yeah, he changed camps to ATT, so we'll see how he looks this fight. But I mean, you can't ignore his last 3 fights. We're talking about it out there. I mean, against Beneil, he lost the first round. Beneil was definitely looking good in that fight. He was looking good in the second round too, until he got caught with that knee. And then he's taken 2 really, really life-changing performances against obviously the 2 really good fighters. I mean, come on, 2, the champ, and then Khabib, and then Kevin Lee, and both those guys kind of just took him down at will. But it's the damage that he took in those fights. Kevin Lee was hurting him on the feet, and I just don't know he's going to come back from those fights. Now he's fighting the guy who's 4-0 at 155 in Hooker. Yeah, red flag. I guess you can say this is Hooker's toughest test, but I mean, he's not fighting a prime Barbosa. He's fighting a Barbosa who's on the decline. Who's he's chinny too. I mean, he's been dropped. He got dropped with the jab against Cerrone. Ferguson dropped him. I mean, he gets dropped. I mean, Jamie Varner knocked him out. He's taking a lot of damage, man. His damage meter definitely up. And Daniel Hooker, man. I mean, dude, this guy at 155. You saw his fight with Gilbert Burns, man. I mean, his left hand is vicious. Really good knees he landed against Jim Miller. I mean, he uses his knees a lot. He has good pressure. He fights very long. Great jab. I don't like his game, and one thing that I think is going to happen here is I don't think this fight's going to hit the mat. They're going to be striking for sure, but I think Barbosa could definitely get hurt in this fight, and I think he's going to shoot for a takedown. He shot for a takedown versus Tony Ferguson, got tapped out when he got hurt. He shot for a takedown last fight versus Kevin Lee. I don't know why he would try to take down Kevin Lee, and Kevin Lee just took him down. And I think he's going to try to take down Essen Barbosa. I'm sorry, Essen Barbosa. I think he's going to try to take down Hooker after he gets hurt, and he's going to get tapped out, man. Dan Hooker has a very good guillotine, man. He tapped out Mark. He almost tapped out Gilbert Burns. So I like Daniel Hooker. I think it's a good matchup here. I think we'll have to see how he does with the wrestlers with Kevin Lee. But, yeah, man, I got Daniel Hooker, man. I think he's going to hurt Barbosa, and I actually think he's going to finish Essen Barbosa by a sub. So I got Daniel Hooker by a second round submission.
I believe the nickname, the Hangman, originated in the gym because of his nasty guillotine. I believe that's where it originated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Dan Hooker is a nasty, nasty motherfucker. I really love him at 155 pounds. I have 3.3 units on Hooker at -110 to win 3 units. Dude, I'm so high on this guy at 155. It's crazy. He's such an accurate striker, man. Like, a lot of people will take away that Jim Miller loss, and we were just talking about Jim Miller, so kind of to go back on that, man, how many KO losses does Jim Miller have in over 30 UFC fights? Over 30 UFC fights. How many KO losses does he have?
2.
Dan Hooker and Donald Cerrone. And Donald Cerrone, we're talking future UFC Hall of Famer, man. Like Dan Hooker is so nasty. I know Miller's late in his career, but dude, we just saw him thrash Alex White once again. But man, Dan Hooker, that last fight against Gilbert Burns. Ooh, so we were talking a lot about this before we started the podcast. But like Gilbert Burns, he came out super aggressive in that Hooker fight. Like he just came right at him. Props to Gilbert. Like he even won like the first minute of that fight. He landed some good shots, but Dan Hooker is and another thing, Dan Hooker is, and I'll say it, he's not the most athletic guy in the UFC for sure. A lot of times he's going to be at a disadvantage there. Even in this fight, man, he's at a disadvantage. But the thing is, he's so damn technical. He's so accurate. Putting on this weight, his power is increased. Like Oh man, this dude is a serious striker, and Edson Barboza. It's not even just this recent damage, Justin. It's his whole career, man. Like dating back all the way back to getting knocked out by Jamie Varner. Like Edson Barboza, like a lot of people talk about it. Like he's notoriously always been a chinny guy, and now you take a chinny guy that's gone through. I mean, he's been in the UFC 8 years now, and now he's just took the biggest two life changers of his entire life. And yeah, you nailed most aspects of that. Like, of course, he lost to two top five guys in Kevin Lee and Khabib, but it's the damage. And I don't know, man. Is he going to be able to take a shot from Dan Hooker? I feel like, and Edson's options are limited here, man. I feel like he does go for takedowns, but I mean, has Edson Barboza ever won a fight with his wrestling? I don't know about that. I don't think he has. Prove me wrong if I'm wrong there, but I don't think he's ever won a fight via his wrestling. So I definitely don't see that happening here. And on the feet, man, he's just like he's gonna be faster. He's gonna land those nasty kicks. Like he's still a serious dude on the feet. He almost knocked out Kevin Lee. We didn't mention that. Like he made Kevin Lee do a serious chicken dance. But thing is, he had taken just way too much damage at that time, and he was pretty tired. And he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to. And Kevin Lee, that's another thing. Dan Hooker's never been knocked out, man. That's another thing. We got a great chin going in here. Kevin Lee actually he's been knocked out a couple times, or one time. Kevin Lee's been knocked out one time, but kind of
rocked in multiple fights.
Yeah. Kevin Lee's been rocked. I would say, if anything, Dan Hooker has a more solid chin than Kevin Lee even. But I don't know. I feel like Edson's options are limited. I don't see him getting a knockout. Like obviously he's so devastating. Like and that's another thing. Edson knocking out Beneil Dariush. He was losing the fight to Beneil Dariush. Beneil was a underdog there, and he was actually outstriking Edson, which, in my opinion, in his prime, Edson Barboza would light up Beneil Dariush on the feet. But fact is, he's definitely slowed down. I think the proof is in the pudding, man. We've seen it in his last few fights. So, yeah, I got the newcomer here. He's training with Adesanya. I love that little bromance they got going there. They have a fun podcast. Yeah, man, I'm so high on Dan Hooker. We're gonna cash this. He's gonna get a first round knockout. So we on the main event now?
Yeah.
So main event of the evening. This is a pretty wide line, guys. We got Al Iaquinta plus 255 taking on Kevin Lee minus 310. I don't know if it should be this wide. Like part of me feels like if it stays on the feet, Iaquinta he's the better boxer. Kevin Lee, we just mentioned it. He's kind of chinny, and Iaquinta, his background is like wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but he really evolved himself into a striker in the UFC, and I think that really is his strength is his striking here. But I just don't see him stuffing, man. Kevin Lee's probably going to come in here, take him down. Al's really tough to finish. Khabib couldn't do it. I don't know if Kevin Lee's going to just go in there and take the back that easily. Like, I think Al defensively on the mat might be a little defensively more sound than Chiesa. Like, I don't think he's just going to be able to run through him like he ran through Chiesa, but, you know, I could be wrong. But Al's a really tough guy. I think he'll do the right things. I think he'll give Kevin Lee a really tough test here. So I wouldn't trust him at minus 310, but he probably comes in here and just out-wrestles the guy. So I'll say Kevin Lee, 49-46 decision. I don't know, man. It's a tough fight. I feel like it's pretty straightforward, to be honest. It's just Kevin Lee, wrestle grind, or Al Iaquinta probably outstrikes him, maybe even knocks him out. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Kevin Lee a lot. You know, it's really hard fading him, man. Like, I only faded him with Tony Ferguson. That was a sweat for sure. If they fought again, that'd be definitely a different fight. Kevin Lee has some of the best grappling in the division. You know, you can say he's a little chinny for sure, but he's tough, man. Like, he can take a shot, man. Like, for sure, he took a shot versus Barbosa. He definitely, you know, has a lot of heart for sure. And Al has been subbed like 4 or 5 times. So if Kevin Lee gets him down, I think he's going to, you know, keep him down and tap him out. I know Khabib, you know, dominated that fight and took him down at will, but I mean, I don't know, man. Just look what happened when Khabib fought. Who was it that Khabib fought somebody that Kevin Lee did the same thing. I forget who it was. Was it? Who's Khabib fought recently?
Edson?
Yes. Okay. So Khabib fought Edson, and then Kevin Lee just did the same thing. And I mean, you could say Kevin Lee had, even a better performance, that Khabib did. So, I mean, they're like two of the best grapplers in the division. So, I do think that Kevin Lee's going to take a game plan out. I mean, that's his game plan anyways, man. So I think he's going to go out there and get him down. The first fight was a long time ago. You could even say Kevin Lee won that fight. It was a very close fight. Kevin Lee, took him down, multiple times. He did get dropped in that fight. Iaquinta has pretty good boxing, but I mean, who has Iaquinta beaten? Like, he's beaten a lot of like washed up guys like Ross Pearson and Joe Lozon and Diego Sanchez and
Masvidal.
Yeah, he didn't beat Masvidal in my opinion. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go. I don't know. That's a really close fight. I do think Masvidal won that fight for sure. I know, like I've said, like I thought Iaquinta won, but I thought Masvidal won that fight.
I bet on Iaquinta against Masvidal. It was one of my first MMA bets ever.
But this is MMA. Iaquinta has good boxing. You could probably say he has better striking, but Kevin Lee's striking has improved a lot. Like, I do think Kevin Lee could have success in the feet, but it doesn't matter if Iaquinta is the better striker here because he's going to get taken down, man. Kevin Lee's wrestling is relentless. His cardio is good, too. You saw it last fight, man. The guy does not get tired. So I got Kevin Lee, and he's going to dominate this fight. And he's actually going to do what Khabib didn't do. He's going to go out there and finish Iaquinta. So I got Kevin Lee with the submission. I got him in probably the second round. So I'm really interested to see what Kevin Lee opens in the distance because if it's plus money, I definitely might throw a little bit on that.
One thing, that weight cut is really tough on Kevin Lee. So, we'll see how that goes. That's definitely something to watch out for. Is Kevin Lee even going to make weight for this fight? If Kevin Lee misses weight, I'll say this: he's definitely winning. We know that record with guys that miss weight.
He actually looked good versus Barbosa though. Like he made weight and he's looked leaner, man. Like he even said, he walks around now at a lighter. You could tell, like the Kevin Lee that fought first and he was bigger. Like he definitely looks leaner. I mean, look at Barbosa, man. He wasn't even tired out there. Like he took him down at will for 5 rounds. So I think his cardio is really good. I actually think Kevin Lee's definitely one of the best fighters in the division. He's a tough out for most guys, and there's levels. I just think he's a better fighter than Iaquinta, and he's going to go out there and get him down and make a statement. I actually really want to see Kevin Lee fight Dustin Poirier. That's the fight that I want to happen really bad. Please make that happen. That would be legit if that happens. So I know who I have in that fight pre-tape, but we'll talk about that off air. So to recap my bet, I know who you have too. So to recap my bets, I have Jordan Griffin. I have 3 units. I have 4 units on Hooker and 4 units on Silva, and then I might play Kevin Lee in the distance. What about you?
So yeah, man, we share those 2 plays of Joaquin Silva. I have 3.5 units on him. I have 3.3 units on Dan Hooker. I also have 2.5 units on Rob Font, and then I took a 2-unit shot on Gerald GM3 Mearshart at plus 205.
Gerald. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Put in the comments below who you guys think is going to win the main event. Who you guys think is going to win any fight. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the last card of the year. UFC 232, great card. And then we got, a new year, man, and a new year to cash some bets. So, I hope, good luck to everybody. I hope everyone cashes their bets unless they're going against us. And have a good night.